Hey guys, it's Amy Elton here. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Today is What If Naruto Had Paper Release Part 2. The pairing is ready to decide for this one. I haven't done this, and I actually haven't seen a lot of these anywhere, but yeah, I'm going to do it. It's still a mystery. You can try and guess what it is. It's pretty hard to guess, but yeah. If you want to guess, leave your suggestions down, or your guesses down in the comments below, and I might shout out to the first person who actually gets it, if you guys get it. But yeah, so without further ado, roll the intro. Four years later, everybody in Naruto's class was outside, on the Academy's training ground. This was the first part of the graduation test. The first part was the accuracy test. You had 10 kunai and 10 shuriken. You had to hit the targets, which were 2 wooden dummies with 5 black circles on them each. The circles were about 3 inches in diameter, and to score a point, the shuriken or kunai you threw had to be anywhere inside the circle. Naruto observed each and everybody throwing. The entire class went throwing kunai and shuriken. Kiba scored 4 out of 10 for both shuriken and kunai. Not really unexpected. Kiba was always the ready, fire, aim type of person, Naruto thought. He now scored a 9 out of 10 for kunai and 8 out of 10 for shuriken, the highest score of all the girls in the class. Not bad. If she was using her Byakugan gun and a little more confident, she wouldn't miss, Naruto thought. Shino scored a 7 out of 10 for both Shino scored a 7 out of 10 for shuriken and an 8 out of 10 for kunai. Shikamaru and Choji both scored a 5 out of 10 for both shuriken and kunai. Not much to say there. Pretty much expected. Shino is the exact opposite of Kiba. Calm, collected, and always asks questions before coming to a conclusion. Can't say the same for Kiba. Shino and Shikamaru and Choji, also expected. Shikamaru didn't try too much, and Choji isn't really the aiming type. His fighting style focuses more on physical combat, Naruto thought. Sakura scored out 5 out of 10 for both kunai and shuriken. Disappointing, really. If she wasn't so focused on Sasuke, she might make a half-decent kunoichi. She's smart, but in the book sense, not streetwise. I mean, really bright. It isn't really bright to have bright pink hair and a red dress. Please. You're basically asking to get yourself killed, Naruto thought. Ino scored a 6 out of 10 for shuriken and a 5 out of 10 for kunai, making her score 1 point higher than Sakura. When Sakura saw this, they started arguing, and a fight broke out before Iruka shut them up. Slightly stronger than Sakura, probably because she's from a ninja family. Still, she's obsessed with Sasuke, and that drags her down, Naruto thought. When it was Sasuke's turn, he stepped up to the throwing line, picked up the shuriken one at a time, and hurled them towards the target. He repeated the same procedure with the kunai. He scored a 9 out of 10 on shuriken and an 8 out of 10 on kunai, and then walked back to where everybody else was. Beat that, loser, he said. If I'm a loser, Naruto said, and you're worse than me, what does that make you? Scum, possibly? Naruto said as he walked up to the line. When Naruto arrived, he looked at the kunai and shuriken and noticed they were dull. Probably Mizuki trying to fail me, Naruto thought. Naruto held up his arms, and his elbows were touching his sides, and his hands were curving slightly towards him. He closed his hands into a fist and flicked them backwards. When they stopped, he was holding 5 shuriken in either hand, 1 between each of his fingers, and 2 between his index and thumb on both hands. He then started spinning and threw out the shuriken. There were 10 clear thuds, and everyone could see that the shuriken landed in each of the circles. All the shuriken were slightly slanted, so that their holes in the shuriken were right above the center of the circles on the targets. Naruto then repeated the same process, and all the kunai passed through the holes in the shuriken and stuck to the center of the targets. I think I did better than you, Sasuke, Naruto called over his shoulder, causing all the guys except for Shino to snicker. Hey, since Hinata scored the same as you, and you're a so-called elite, that must make Hinata elite as well, Naruto said. Hinata blushed from the praise. She didn't know Naruto very much, but she'd only see him in class or being chased by Anbu after he just pranked them. Hey Naruto, why'd you spin? Iruka asked. 2 reasons. 1, normally when you're trying to hit something with Shuriken or Kunai, they're moving. So, being dizzy being dizzy makes up for that. And 2, because when I'm spinning, I can throw Kunai or Shuriken in any direction, Naruto explained. Okay everybody, let's get back inside for the written test, Iruka said, walking back inside. 1 hour later. Everybody had just finished the written test and was still waiting to take part of the last test of the exam. Iruka then came in and took students one by one to a separate room for the last test. Some students came back with a leaf headband, another came back in tears. When it was Naruto's turn, he followed Iruka into the separate room. Okay Naruto, I need you to perform the transformation jutsu, the replacement jutsu, and the Bunshin jutsu. If you can do all of these jutsu without hand seals, you get extra credit. Lastly, if you can perform an extra jutsu for extra points, Iruka said. Okay, Naruto replied. With a puff of smoke and no hand seals, in Naruto's place was a perfect copy of Iruka. Well done, Naruto, Iruka said, marking something on a clipboard. Now the replacement jutsu, Mizuki said, quickly throwing a wooden kunai at Naruto. In another puff of smoke, Naruto and Mizuki had switched places. The kunai that Mizuki had thrown hit Mizuki in the nose, breaking it. As soon as the kunai fell to the floor, Mizuki was back in his chair. Naruto burst out laughing and didn't stop for about 20 seconds. Sorry about that, Mizuki-sensei, Naruto said, smirking. Paper clone jutsu. Paper appeared out of thin air and gathered to form a perfect clone of Naruto. Very good, Naruto. Now do you have any extra jutsu you'd like to perform? Naruto nodded and held out his palm with his... The paper gathered around it and formed into a normal-looking bird. It can be used for reconnaissance purposes, Naruto said. Okay, Iruka said, and wrote down his clipboard again. He then handed Naruto a hayate with a black cloth. Oh, and by the way, hayate just means like the leaf headband, or not the leaf headband, but just the headband. Okay, you can go now, Iruka replied. Time skip, several hours later. Mizuki was growling as he bypassed all the defenses to get to the scroll ceiling. That brat, he thought. He ruined all my chances. I have to do it myself, and if I get caught, there's no way out of this. He was about to leave when there was a chirp. He rolled around and saw a hummingbird sitting on one of the bookshelves. It cocked its head and chirped again. Mizuki let out a sigh and took a step backwards before thinking, something's wrong. Nice night, isn't it? A voice said from behind him. Mizuki whirled around and saw Naruto sitting on the window, legs crossed and hands clasped resting on his knee. You, Mizuki snarled. Me, Naruto agreed with a smile, before Mizuki tensed up and fell to the floor. The tip of the hummingbird's beak was still stuck in his neck. The hummingbird then started falling apart into paper, until all was left was a dart sticking out of his neck. Thank you, Naruto, Hiruzen said, walking into the room. Naruto gave him a 2-fingered salute before leaning backwards and falling off the windowsill towards the ground. Hiruzen walked to the window to see Naruto soaring away, with 2 large paper wings attached to his back. Hiruzen just chuckled and called to Anbu to take Mizuki away. Anyway guys, thanks for listening, and by the way, the pairing is not Naruto Hinata, so just in case you I thought it was, that's not it. But yeah, I encourage you guys to see if you can guess what it is. But yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.